Shadow Pupitar gonna unleash the crunch. Crunch forces the opponent's final protect shield. Xboston farms up, makes the catch onto Shadow Girder. Where else are you gonna see this Pokemon in action? The opponent fires off the foul play and easy tank, then send out knockdown. Flyers supposed to beat fighters, but this opponent don't know about that rock type coverage. They're about to find out. Welcome back to the channel. Buckle up because today we are in for one hell of a ride. Of course, today is league turnover day, so most content creators are posting top teams, best teams, and all that other nonsense with very little big boom action. I personally cannot stand that type of video. When I open up YouTube and look for Pokemon Go PvP content, I just want to see some madness in the Go Battle League. So if you, like I'm here for that sort of content, you're in the right place. Speaking of opening up YouTube, the other day I did exactly that, and on my home screen, I saw a video from a content creator who was brand new to the platform. This content creator happens to be called Yeti Note TV. He actually had less than 20 subs at the time and only 6 videos, so I was pretty hyped to see someone new. The team he's running is the team you can see on the left hand side. It's safe to say the team he's using is very much the sort of team you'd expect to see on my channel, aka the home of Shadow Pokemon. So what I did is I reached out to him. I was like, buddy, send me some battles, let's get a collaboration together, and hopefully my channel can help your channel get in that kickstart it really needs to thrive on the platform. This is where you all come into it. The chances are, if you enjoy my content, you're going to enjoy Yeti Notes as well. This new content creator is linked down below. Drop him a sub. I've yapped for far too long, so without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, Yeti Note gonna lead these shiny Shadow Salamence into Annihilate. A very, very nice lead for us. The opponent save switches into Clodsire. We farm up, attempt to catch a Stone Edge onto Venusaur. The opponent does actually fire off the Sludge Bomb. Most grass types aren't a big fan of poison, but Venusaur is a poison type itself, meaning that only hits for neutral. Yeti Note farms up, fires off the Frenzy Plant on the CMP type, forcing the first protect shield of the game. Today's team, like a lot of triple shadow teams, is very, very glassy. Yeti Note not interested in shielding up Venusaur, instead going to send out Gallade and look to farm up on energy. Gallade going to invest the protect shield, blocking up the Sludge Bomb. Yeti Note farming up a bucket of energy before unleashing the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade hits for neutral, and if it goes unshielded, we'll be moving Clodsire from the field of play. Down goes Clodsire. Annihilate re-enters the arena. Gallade with so much energy already doubled up. The Leaf Blade goes unshielded, rocking Annihilate deep into the red. We then see the attempted snipe with Salamence, and out comes Dugong. Salamence unable to reach the Draco, but Fly still going to hit hard. Holy cow, very, very hard indeed. Gallade on cleanup duty re-enters the arena. We see Yeti Note go for the correct one Psycho Cut and the Leaf Blade for optimal fast move time, and Leaf Blade goes unshielded. The opponent sends out Annihilate, they get Psycho Cut farm down, and we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see a dreadful lead. To be honest, this team has quite a lot of shared weaknesses. At a quick glance, we are ABA weak to Charm, ABA weak to Ice, as well as plenty of other things that could probably core break this very spicy triple shadow team. Yeti Note sends out his only answer for a Charmer in Venusaur. However, as the opponent's staying in, I'm sure you can tell, much like this is going to be slap pole, Wigglytuff, double Mud Boy. The opponent sends out Gastrodon, sacrificing it to the Pokegod's Frenzy Plant, picks up that one-shot Wigglytuff, re-enters the arena. Venusaur still not done, fires off the Frenzy Plant, Switch Timer pops up, quick switch into Gallade. Gallade reaches the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade removes Wigglytuff from the field of play. Out comes Kanto Marowak, looking for that Mud Slap farm down. Gallade says no, reaches one further Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade! Ooh, isn't quite lethal, but that's neither here nor there, as one Dragon Tail gets the job done. GG's, and thanks for playing. We might have been core broken by a Charmer, but that opponent was completely core broken by the mighty Shadow Venusaur. Heading into the next battle, we're going to lead our shiny Shadow Salamence into Drapion. Somewhat of a neutral matchup. I'm going to say somewhat. Because spoiler alert, if you think Salamence can tank a charge move, nah, it cannot. If the opponent falls in a crunch here, we're going to get knocked out. We look to call the bait. The opponent go for the Aqua Tail bait. We then make the catch onto Venusaur. Very, very nice play. Saving 2 protect shields and banking all of our energy. Aqua Tail does absolutely nothing, and the opponent sends out Superior. Even after tanking the Aqua Tail, Shadow Venusaur isn't quite in Aerial Ace range, but we're very much in danger of getting farmed down afterwards. Yet, happy to invest the Protect Shield for over farming and full sending the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb! Boo, go shielded. The opponent is going to be able to outpace to the next Aerial Ace. Venusaur, can it hang on? Venusaur survives on minimal HP, literally 1 HP and a dream, reaching the next Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb picks up that one shot. Drapion re-enters the arena. We send back out Salamence. The opponent pivots into Annihilate, and trainer, you're in trouble. Fly, of course, forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Quick switch into Gallade. Gallade, of course, will be shielding up the Rage Fist. Even not boosted, Rage Fist would probably knock us out. A Shadow Gallade cannot tank a hit for shit, but Gallade, incredibly spammy, farms up to the double Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade easily going to be enough to knock out. When Drapion does return, we've got that close combat banked, and we're going to give him that 1 HP boom. Bang, there it is. Shout out the GOAT, Oxford U for that quote, and we take that game. Yeti Note displaying very nice energy management in that battle. In the next battle, we see Morpeko in the lead position. My. 3 Dragon Tails rock the opponent below half health. They then send out Diggersby, and unless this thing's running Hyper Beam, they are fully walled by Salamance's Dragonfly and type in. The opponent doesn't farm up to a potential Hyper Beam, so whatever they throw is survival. They go for the Fire Punch. Yeti Note banks the Fly for the road, pivots into Gallade, and attempts the snipe. The snipe attempt is unsuccessful. Gallade tanks the Scorching Sands. Scorching Sands rocks us down to around a third health, and out comes Clodsire. Yeti Note looking to farm up to the double Leaf Blade. 1 Leaf Blade, very easily survivable for Clodsire, but the opponent opts to shield the first, but the super spammy Gallade says there's plenty more of where that came from. The second one does some alright chip damage. I'm going to say alright because this Clodsire is just such a bloody bulky beast. Clodsire commits to the Poison Sting farm down, and we send out Venusaur. Venusaur can tank any one move, but I think it's wise to start shielding. We correctly shield the Earthquake. Quick switch back into Morpeko. Yeti Note very quickly finds himself all shields down. We shield the Aura Wheel before looking to return fire with the Frenzy Plant. We're going to see us go for an undercharge, anticipating the opponent not shielding. Even a nice removes Morpeko from the field of play. Back out comes Clodsire. Have they Poison Stung us in a range where Earthquake will be lethal? Venusaur once again survives deep into the red health range, reaches the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and it's time to serve up that wham bam combo play, giving the opponent the Big Mac and the fries, and Fly is going to be all she wrote. GG's. The moral of the story is when you face an oppressive triple shadow team, you simply can't shield all the nukes. In the next battle, we see the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death in the lead. A very nice lead for Salamence. Salamence should be able to go for the 1 shield, a full Dragon Tail farm down. I'm anticipating 3 further Dragon Tails, removing them from the field of play. The opponent not wanting to see if they can reach another charge move, opt to send out Morpeko. Morpeko shields up the Fly. We then farm up, make the catch onto Venusaur, essentially sacrificing it, looking to keep it as far away from that Talonflame as we physically can. We did discuss some shared weaknesses this team has earlier. We're also double weak to flying in the back. Venusaur just completely sacrificed to the Pokegods. The Psychic Fang removes us from the field of play. We've now lost Switch, which means potentially Gallade will be aligned against Talonflame. Back out comes Talonflame. We fire off 1 Dragon Tail and the Fly. If this goes unshielded, the Incinerate will not register. The opponent sends out Superior. We look to make a catch onto Gallade. The catch attempt is unsuccessful, and we're now going to see us invest the Protect Shield, correctly shield up the Frenzy Plant. All we've got to do here is farm up, full send the Close Combat, which we do at very nice timing on the CMP tie. Close Combat gets called, they get 1 shot, and we take that game. I was going to say, we just got to force the final protection with a Close Combat and knock them out with a Fly. The opponent recognising their win con was probably calling a bait, hashtag no baits on this channel, and was able to emerge victorious. In the next battle, we see the Big Fat Bunny, aka Diggersby, or as I like to say, Thickersby, in the lead position. We've already established Salamence going to completely wall them, unless on the off chance they're running Hyper Beam. We tank a charge and we see the pivot into Gallade. Gallade invests that Protect Shield and farms up to the double Leaf Blade. So if the opponent invests the Protect Shield, we can just go back to back. The opponent does indeed invest that Protect Shield. Gallade, so incredibly spammy, only taking 8 turns to these Leaf Blades, which is ironically one of the best moves in the game. 35 energy for 70 damage. Absolutely absurd. Speaking of absurd, we're actually able to survive the Fire Punch. Look to fire off the Leaf Blade. The opponent catches it onto Primate. Very nice catch, but the Primate save switch is swiftly answered with Salamence. Salamence able to fire off the Fly. Fly removes Primate from the field of play. That Primate made a very brief cameo appearance. I'm often told I talk at a million miles an hour, but even I'm struggling to keep up with some of these crazy battles. Out comes Dugong. This should be quite straightforward from here. As long as Yeti Note doesn't enable the opponent to make a catch, this game's over. Out comes Venusaur. We fire off the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant, of course, easily picks up the 1-shot Thickersby. Re-enters the arena. We're just going to shield at the Fire Punch. The opponent isn't going to be able to outpace us to the next Fire Punch required to win this battle. Venusaur wins the race, fires off the next Frenzy Plant, and we take that game. Plenty of more big booms in that battle, which you love to see. Heading into the next battle, we see crezy in the lead. Of course, crezy is a rock type, so we do have to be mindful that the rock side would easily knock out Salamence. We see Yeti Note farm up, try and catch the rock side onto Venusaur. We don't make a catch, but the opponent opts to stay in, fire off the rock side anyway, which is a pretty easy tank for us, as rock side did get nerfed a few seasons ago. Venusaur fires off the frenzy plant, forcing a protect shield. The opponent clearly don't have a great answer for Venusaur, opting just to stay in with crezy. Yeti Note just lets Venusaur go down, sacrificing it to the Pokegods. He waits out his clock before sending back out Salamence. Salamence looks for the Dragon Tail farm down, which we're unable to get before the next rock slide's reached. Yeti Note happy to invest a protection and go for a massive Dragon Tail farm down. Please tell me it's Draco Meteor time. Speaking of which, we're full sending. Please go unshielded. Draco Meteor gets the one shot on Dunsparce. Get that Dunsparce off my screen. The opponent's got Gator in the back. We attempt to catch a charge onto Gallade, probably sacrificing it. The opponent continues to farm up energy, allowing us to reach the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade forces the final Protect Shield. Gallade has no intention to shield, and Hydro Cannon picks up the one shot. We send back out to Salamence, and Salamence is going to land yet another big boom as Fly is going to pick up the KO. GG's, and thanks for playing. Our last opponent might have thought Dunsparce was thick, but our Shadow Salamence had a little something to say about that. In the next battle, we see Malamar in the lead position. On paper, a neutral matchup. One of the main problems with running Shadow Salamence is in all neutral matchups, you're kind of forced to invest Protect Shields. The opponent fired off the Super Power, which would have been survivable. However, if we tanked that and stayed in, they probably could have Sideway farmed down afterwards. The opponent sends out Thickersby. We're opting to stay in, chipping them with the Fly. Fly does a lot of damage. We should be able to survive a Fire Punch from this range, and definitely a Scorching Suns. That would have been double resisted. We're actually going to invest a Protect Shield, bank the Fly off the road, and send out Venusaur. I like this play a lot, as it baits back out Malamar, meaning Gallade isn't going to have to face it in the endgame. We fire off the Frenzy Plant forces the Protect Shield. We have Vine Whip in a range where a Leaf Blade should be lethal. This could still be quite a tricky endgame, as the opponent does have a Protect Shield to hide behind. Let's see how Yeti Note plays this one out. Yeti Note waits out his clock, sends out Gallade. The opponent instantly pivots out into Dunsparce, and that should give us a very clear path to victory. Gallade might be glassy, but going to tank any one move. The opponent actually fire off the Dig. Dig certainly isn't the recommended moveset. The opponent might have Dig because they've run out of TMs, and if that's the case, Mr. Opponent, I feel your pain. That last Rocket event killed me right off. Gallade exits with the close combat forces the protection. We've got that Fly bank. You knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Did the opponent know it was coming? Probably, but there's nothing they can do, and Fly takes that game. And that, unfortunately, is just about going to wrap things up for Yeti Note's battles in today's video. I'm sure after watching them battles, you'll agree he is very entertaining, very fun, and well worth a sub. I could, of course, end the video there. And if we're talking from a logical standpoint, I probably should as well, as making this video even longer isn't really going to do me any favours. It's not like I'm going to make any more money, not that I make much money on this platform, as I'm quite a small content creator in my own right. However, I don't make YouTube content to try and get rich. I work full time and grind very hard at my day job to make sure my bills are paid. I make YouTube content because I enjoy what I do. We've already established earlier in the video that today is that very boring day on YouTube, where most content creators are looking for very easy, very cheap views, just spamming out a video they've spammed together saying this team's the best, this team will get you free elo with no battle footage whatsoever. I personally don't enjoy that, and I know a lot of you don't as well, as I've received positive feedback when I feature actual battles on a Tuesday. So rounding out today's video, we've got some battles from a trainer who needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. He's my favourite battler in the world. He's my Discord moderator. He's actually my new factions teammate, as I've joined a new faction. Shout out Shadowclaw. He's also the reigning and defending Callum on Toast Battle of Spice champion. Of course, we're talking about the trainer you can see on the screen, xboston. He's going to be doing what he does best, running some absolute insane triple shadow teams. Without any further ado, let's get back into the battles. Your eyes are not deceiving you. On the screen, we have a level 50, fully maxed out Shadow Pupitar facing off against Clodsire. Boston actually happy to double shield his Shadow Pupitar, and I personally cannot blame him, as he spent over 600,000 Stardust to build this thing. Shadow Pupitar able to get the full bite farm down, and out comes Malamar. It looks like the opponent clearly doesn't have a great answer for Shadow Pupitar, probably a sentence you won't hear all that often. With that in mind, Boston farms up, makes the catch onto Shadow Girder. Girder gonna tank the foul play, which would be resisted. The opponent then sends out knockdown. Flyers might be advantageous into fighters, but if this opponent don't know about that rock type coverage, they're about to find out. Stone Edge picks up that one hit KO. Back out comes Malamar, able to sideway farm down, but they find himself in a 2 versus 1 scenario. Boston sends out Typhlosions, Prevolution. I believe this thing is called Quill Lava. I'm not entirely sure, and I don't think I've ever seen one in the Go Battle League. It gets off a couple of embers. We snipe with the bites, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle. As I previously said, Boston is a Callum on Toast, a reigning Battle of Spice champion. If you're wondering how he got that accolade, look at this team. We've got Snorunt, Blitzel, and Shuckle. None of these Pokemon even break the 1000 CP barrier, although we found ourselves a problem in the lead, which I guess quite a few Pokemon will be a problem for this team, in the form of Raichu. We catch the Thunder Punch onto Blitzel. It looks like the opponent looking for that Thunder Shock farm down, which they're unable to get. Blitzel able to reach the Flame Charge. A Flame Charge forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Hopefully we see Shuckle here. Shuckle might only be less than 500 CP, but this thing has the biggest defense out of any Pokemon. Don't let that CP fool you. Whatever they throw is just going to tickle. If you're wondering how much defense this thing's got, a lot. And when I say a lot, I really do mean that. So if you go into PvPoke and sort the Great League by highest defense, Carbink finds itself in the number 1 spot with 247. However, if Shuckle was actually in the rankings, it'd almost have 100 defense more of a whopping 345. We send out Snorunt, we're able to get the Powder Snow farm down. The opponent sends out Frossalas. A reason you shouldn't run Snorunt. It's essentially a really expensive, a poor version of this, but we've got the energy lead. We fire off the Shadow Ball. It looks like the opponent stopped attacking. I clearly cannot blame them. This opponent's probably never going to play this game ever again after losing to Boston's absolute nonsense. I guess anyone that believes in the algorithm can clip this battle and be like, I told you the algorithm exists. This opponent sends out Charizard and they're actually completely core broken by a Shuckle. When you're going to build a team for the Great League, I guess you can be core broken by a Shuckle. You're never going to see one. But on a more serious note, Bastiodon would do the same thing, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we've got Boston's fun take on the classic Poison Double Dark team. We've got Scolipede as our Poison type, and Liepard and Mightyena as our Dark types. We found ourselves a tricky lead. Boston opting to stay in, at least at the start. I'm anticipating them making a pivot at some stage, as you should always do when running an ABB team. We shut up the air relays, fire off the Sludge Bomb, force our Protect Shield back, and we see the pivot into Liepard. The Liepard Save Switch does exactly what it's meant to do. So when you're in Poison Double Dark, you want to pivot into one of your Dark types, looking to bait out a potential fighter or fairy. Once baiting this thing out, you sack the first B type, kill it with your lead, aka Type A, allowing the second B type the best opportunity to sweep the back line. Let's see if that works in this scenario. Boston sends out Scolipede. Scolipede looking for that Poison Jab farm down, which we're able to get. We leave insanely low. Boston makes the instant pivot into Mightyena, and the opponent is opting to stay in, which could be a good sign. The opponent able to land the Ice Beam, rocking Mightyena below half health. The opponent continued to stay in. Boston takes the initiative, fires off the Poison Fang. Poison Fang, to my surprise, forces the final protection. Out comes Ivysaur. Ivysaur able to fully Vine Whip farm down. Back out comes Scolipede. Scolipede fires off the X-Scissor. Scolipede running out of HP. X-Scissor isn't quite lethal. Able to Poison Jab farm down and survive the wing attack. Reach the X-Scissor and Boston takes an insanely close game. GG's. If you'd like a more detailed breakdown of how to run an ABB team, I run them quite a lot and I've got various videos on the channel. Heading into the next battle, we have yet another crazy XL team with Snover, Golett and Rhydon. Pick up a great lead, but a very problematic Save Switch. Despite running double ground and running into a fire type, Talonflame, being a fire flying type, actually single resists ground, as ground hits fire for super effective and flying double resists. Boston was able to land the breaking swipe, and I'm going to anticipate him just double shielding here. If the opponent thought the lead of Snover was bad, they're going to be so sad when they see what else is waiting for that Morpeko in the form of our Golett. Out comes Gastrodon. Unless the opponent's got a Seed Bomb, this game is signed, sealed and delivered. If they've got a Seed Bomb, we're still in a lot of trouble. We're going to fire off the Surf. Surf forces the first protection, of course. We're going to send out Snover. As soon as the opponent switches, Boston is going to pivot into Golett. Is this a Seed Bomb? Is the opponent a Giga Chad running that grass coverage? No, they're not. They fire off the Aura Wheel, which is double resisted, but still does half our health. Golett able to fully Mud Slap farm down. Back out comes Gastrodon. Gastrodon going to be greeted with the Brick Break, forces the opponent's final protection. The opponent looks for that Mud Slap farm down. Golett holds strong, reaches the next Brick Break, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we've got yet more level 50 triple Shadow Madness. This team costs 2 million dust, which is absurd. We lead Snubble into Dredagon. The opponent safe switches into Quillfish. Quillfish fires off the Aqua Tail. Snubble shows very respectable bulk. We tackle away, fire off the Brick Break, force the Protect Shield, and we see the pivot into Golett. Golett looks for the Mud Slap farm down, which we're unable to get before the next Aqua Tails reach Boston. Invest that Protect Shield. We do get a full Mud Slap farm down and leave with residual energy good to go. Back out comes Dredagon. Boston gonna fire off the Nightshade. Nightshade, to my surprise, forces the Protect Shield. I really wanted to see that land, as I think it would have been quite close to knocking out, as this thing does hit hard. Boston invests the Protect Shield, blocking up the Dragon Claw, and we are going to see that Nightshade land as we're able to reach the next one. Nightshade removes Dredagon from the field of play, and out comes Ludicolo. The team from the opponent also very spicy. I haven't seen Ludicolo in a very long time in the Go Battle League. Boston sends out Machop. Machop fires off the Cross Chop, which I believe is actually Legacy on this thing. Don't quote me on that. Boston then tries to catch onto Snubble unsuccessfully. Ludicolo, very slow to charge moves, but able to reach the next cross shot, what looks like to be a CMP tie, and take that game. Heading into the next battle, we've got an appearance from Drillbur. I've actually seen this Pokemon featured before, not on my channel, but I've seen Callum run it, and that thing is such a glass cannon. Oof, rough lead. We say switch into Golett, and out comes Gastrodon. In this battle of Mud Slappers, Golett actually quite favoured, as the opponent is going to have to full send a Water Pulse or an Earth Power to do any meaningful damage, whereas we can spam Brick Breaks, meaning our Mud Slaps do even more damage. The opponent fires off the Body Slam, double resisted, simply does not cut it. Golett able to fire off the next Brick Break and forces a shield advantage here in the mid game. We're going to need Drillbur to be very good against the lead and the back line. It's not actually that great into Talonflame. Unlike Excadrill, it doesn't have Rock Slide, it's got Rock Tomb, which is more expensive, meaning it takes even longer to get to. But on the plus side, we're only neutral to fire rather than take super effective. Out comes Morpeko, and Boston has a fighting chance. Just shield Boston, don't do anything silly, Boston. Invest the protection. The opponent this time does have Seed Bomb. Boston gets the full Mud Slap farm down. Out comes Talonflame. Boston going for the Drill Run bait. The opponent shields the bait. Can we reach the Rock Tomb before we get Incinerate farm down? Oh, fuck. Yes, we can. Just about. And Rock Tomb is going to be all she wrote. GG's. Holy cow, that was close. Heading into the next battle, we're running back the same line of three. We see Snover into Jumpluff. Very, very nice for us. The opponent stays in before say switching into Dunsparce. Boston farms up. Goes the Rockside catch onto Golett like an absolute savage. Golett pretty advantageous to this matchup. We're hitting for neutral the entirety of the time. We can also hit for super effective with Brick Breaks, and we are resisting the rollout damage. Boston fires off the Brick Break, forcing the opponent's first Protect Shield. Looks like Boston more than happy to invest in Protect Shield, knowing he's going to reach the next charge move at the same speed as Dunsparce and has the higher attack. Boston able to win the charge attack priority. Is the opponent going to go all in, fighting for switch advantage? Yes, they are. I'm very, very surprised to see Boston not fight for switch advantage, meaning he's now going to have his Drillbur aligned against Jumpluff, which I wouldn't recommend doing, but we're going to let Boston cook. We send back out Snover. Snover able to fully Powder Snow farm that. Out comes Tentacle. What the hell is that quick move? Is that Acid? I don't think I've ever seen the Acid animation, but the opponent doesn't make a catch. Why? I've got no idea. Sometimes you're better off just not asking questions. Drill Run removes Tentacruel from the field of play. Jumpluff re-enters the arena, but this game is certainly signed, sealed, and delivered. The opponent actually go for the Aerial Ace, and then they're forced to dump another charge move. You could actually shield this if you want, just to get off the Rock Tomb, but Boston like, nah, there's no need. We send back out Snover, reach the Ice Beam, double super effective damage, and is going to take that game. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's video. Today's video was a bit strange. It was a bit of a mashup. Of course, we had Yeti Note originally, then some absolute madness from xboston. I doubt anyone's made it to this part in the video, but if you had, post the word pancake down below as a fun little game to see if anyone can put up with me for 24 minutes. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you'd like your battles featured on my channel. A link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.